Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. This dude has seen some shit. I'll put it that way. With his stage presence and unique voice, he easily could have gone on to be like a legendary rapper or something. And I like to think I could have as well, but hey, as a business, self-education is almost 10 times as much as music, and music is shrinking anyway. So, although self-education is growing rapidly, until we can combine them and make self-growth normal, if you want to check out the music I've made, that's on my channel, or in the description. It's entirely self-made. All of it. But the remixes, I don't make those beats, but I do make the beats in these videos. If this is your first time watching my videos, I don't recommend checking those out. If this is not your first time watching my videos, I definitely do, because all my personality, if you think, whatever you think of me, my music is that times 10. In this book, Trevor Noah reflects on his childhood with heavy detail and kind of sprinkles the philosophies of his and his family's. With the popularity of this book, it is no surprise that he has a knack for making what he has learned throughout his life accessible to the reader or listener. He will tell us what happened at a home or a church and drop a sort of comedic reflection at the end of it. There's like an entire 2-minute section where he talks about why it's so amazing to poop. And it may not sound like a lot, but 2 minutes is like a lot if you're just talking about poop. Now, what I love about this book, aside from the storytelling, I mean, this dude can paint pictures. It is clarity. Is that if you know nothing about apartheid or growing up in a place like South Africa, but you'd like some insight on both topics, this book is a great start. He and his mom had a sort of Tom and Jerry relationship. And the older he got, the more difficult it became for her to sort of keep up with him. It seems like all these stories, the more of them I heard, kind of connect with each other. And not just the stories, but the connections that they have, like broken family ties and like romantic relationships and racism. I want to go on a mini tangent here and just say racism is like the most absurd thing I have ever heard of. Like, you are telling someone that they are of lower importance to you because of all things, the color of their skin. Like, that is the most petty, time-wasting, ridiculous, nonsensical, impractical, pointless, ego-fucking, low-vibration, self-sabotaging color. Really? Martin Luther King, for example, mentioned the content of someone's character. And, you know, this is 2019, and I've learned a bit about Martin Luther King in the last couple months. He was a very educated man. I don't think he saw this far into the future in every aspect of America. But what's the point in judging anyone at all for anything? Yes, it's human nature, I get it, but if you think human nature isn't like a cold, clammy, outdated system of life on Earth, I highly recommend The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, because I fucking think it is, and Robert Greene, he can vouch for sure. So yeah, racism, weird thing, doesn't really make sense. At this point in my life, in fact, any racist joke I laugh at, it's not even the joke, it's just the idea of racism. You might actually notice that in the quotes section of this review after the rest of the summer. In Eden Park, where he grew up, it is like, this guy literally was born a crime. He would be treated by everyone as this thing. And that may take some of the potential substance out of this review, but I don't feel the need to talk about the stories themselves, because the stories, well, they speak for themselves. However, in the section about his mom's conservation of gas, for example, this stood out. She was a hybrid car before hybrid cars came out. She was the master of coasting. She knew every downhill between work and school, between school and home. She knew exactly where the gradient shifted to put it into neutral. She could time the traffic lights so we could coast through intersections without using the brakes or losing momentum. I just really resonated with this. But it's these ideas he sort of adds in there to bring a bit of texture to the stories, and the reader's likelihood of really feeling them. Something useful about this book is, I think if you read between the lines, in a sense, you may find yourself gathering some insights on how to captivate an audience while telling a story. And this is just a very accessible book. It is. I listen to pretty much like only nonfiction books, and my mom, for instance, well, that's not really her thing, but she loved this book. So aside from its popularity and Trevor Noah's as a comedian and personal brand, it's no surprise that this book is as successful as it is. Quotes: "I don't know how to hit a white child. A black child, I understand. A black child, you hit them and they stay black.
a white child, Trevor turns blue and green and yellow and red. I've never seen those colors before. I'm scared I'm gonna break him. I don't want to kill a white person. I'm so afraid.
Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening. A dog is the perfect thing for a child to have. It's like a bicycle, but with emotions. The white people would sit and watch the black people eat, and the black people would sit and eat and watch the white people watching them eat. As a kid, wherever I went, whatever building I was in, I was always plotting my escape in case shit went down. In reality, I was always a nerdy kid with almost no friends, but in my mind, I was an important and dangerous man who needed to know where every camera was and where all the exit points were. Society functions, except when it doesn't. People don't want to be rich, they want to be able to choose. The richer you are, the more choices you have. That is the freedom of money. If you think he's a monster when the whole world thinks he's a saint, then you begin to think that you're the bad person. If God is with me, then what isn't? Direction 1. I recommend this book if you want to hear some amazing childhood stories from a place that is not America. I recommend this book if you want to learn a thing or two about discrimination, apartheid, or anything of the like in South Africa, especially, at least. And I also recommend this book if you're trying to sharpen your storytelling skills. Because one, I think that's one thing that really separates this book from a lot of the other ones that I've reviewed so far. And two, I didn't mention this in the summary, or that really, but the last 2 hours of the book, buckle your fucking seatbelt, okay? Direction 2. If you like this book, the only one I've listened to that I could recommend, I think it's probably Black Privilege by Charlemagne the God. I know Kevin Hart wrote a book too, which is like, I think one of the top sellers in Audible history. I'll be getting that and reviewing it eventually. That and the Charlemagne book and pretty much every other book that I've listened to. Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. That and any other book that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out too. Make sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know why people watch this far into my videos and do not subscribe. If you have subscribed, however, and you want to take it up just a bit of a notch, turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video. That would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.